धारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना जय यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शीला प्रभुपाद की ISKCON founder Acharya, BBT founder Acharya, savior of the whole world, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नाम आचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की एकादशी महामहोत्सव की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, entitled Explanation of Devotional Service. Text number 37. Okay. Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam Kala Ityabhidhiyate Bhutanam Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam Kala Ityabhidhiyate Bhutanam Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam Rupa Bhedaspadam Divyam Kala Ityabhidhiyate Bhutanam Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam. Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam Kala Abhidhiyate Bhutana Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam. Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam Kala Ityabhidhiyate Bhutana Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam. Rupa Bhedaspadam Divyam Kala Ityabhidhiyate Bhutanam Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam. Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam Kala Ityabhidhiyate Bhutanam Mahadadinam Yato Bhinna Drisham Bhayam. Rupa Bheda of the transformation of forms. Aspadam, the cause. Divyam, divine. Kalaha, time. Iti, thus. Abhidhiyate, is known. Bhutanam, of living entities. Mahat Adinam, beginning with Lord Brahma. Yataha, because of which. Bhinna Drisham, with separate vision. Bhayam, fear. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The time factor who causes the transformation of the various material manifestations is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who does not know that time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor. Please repeat. The time factor who causes the transformation of the various material manifestations is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who does not know that time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor. Purport: everyone is afraid of the activities of time, but a devotee who knows that the time factor is another representation or manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to fear from the influence of time. The phrase Rupa Vedas Padam is very significant. By the influence of time, so many forms are changing. For example, when a child is born, his form is small. But in the course of time, that form changes into a larger form, the body of a boy, and then the body of a young man. Similarly, everything is changed and transformed by the time factor, or by the indirect control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Usually, we do not see any difference between the body of a child and the body of a boy or a young man, because we know that these changes are due to the action of the time factor. There is cause for fear for a person who does not know how time acts. We will also cover the next verse, text 38. Yonta pravishya bhutani bhutairatya kilashrayah savishmakhya dhyagnyosau kalakalayatam prabhu. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart. He is the support of everyone. He causes every being to be annihilated by another. Purport: Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is clearly described in this passage. He is the supreme enjoyer, and all others are working as his servants. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5.14, Ekale Ishware Krishna, the only Supreme Lord is Vishnu, Arasabha Bhritya, all others are his servants. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods are all servants. The same Vishnu enters everyone's heart as Paramatma, and he causes the annihilation of every being through another being. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namne Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all of you to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before I begin, I would like to seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees, all the senior Vaishnavas who are present here, so that whatever is spoken in line with Sri Prabhupada's mood and mission. So here we, in text 37, 38, the time factor is being mentioned. I think last couple of times whenever I spoke, somehow the time factor is coming. Whenever I was speaking, this is the theme. So we find that in this particular verse it says Rupa Vedas Padam Divyam Kala Iti Abhidiyate. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, actually people who do not understand time to be Krishna's energy are afraid of time. How many of you present here, honestly speaking, sometimes feel, what if I'm not productive, the time is up, almost the time is up. We are also a little scared of time. Anyone here? Yeah, we're all sharing the same concern. We are all afraid of time. But for a devotee, he sees time as energy of Krishna. Energy of Krishna means he sees the working of time as working of Krishna. Prabhupada writes as working of time as indirect control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Last time we were discussing when it came to the same section of time, we were discussing how Bhishma, when he was lying on his arrow bed, he explained to Yudhishthir that it is not, even though you guys are dharma parayan, worshippers of dharma, still you will find you are undergoing so many difficulties. Why is that? Why did it happen? And then finally he concluded, because it is the inevitable will of the Supreme Lord in the form of time factor. Like that he said. So first he said it's because of the time, and that time is none other than Krishna. Like that he said. So in the material world there is a famous saying. They say, if you want to know the value of 1 year, ask a person who failed a course, because he has to repeat it. If you want to know the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. If you want to know the value of 1 minute, ask a person who missed the bus. If you want to know the value of 1 second, ask a person who escaped death in a car accident. And if you want to know the value of 1/100th of a second, ask the person who won silver medal in Olympics. And I added to that, if you want to know the value of 1 lifetime, you can ask King Bharata. Because of his mistake, he had to take 1 more lifetime. So in this way we know, actually why is there fear of time? That's what the first line explains. Rupa Bedas Padam Divyam. Prabhupada calls it very significant, because the material forms, the material energy itself is eternal. Material energy is never destroyed. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate is explained. What is that? What is destroyed again and again? The material manifestation of the material energy. But the material energy in itself is never destroyed. So Rupa Vedas Padam Divyam means, according to the time, as the time flows, material energy exists, but it changes its form, it transforms. So therefore we say, once upon a time, Prabhu, should I tell you my childhood experience? Once upon a time I was like this. Once upon a time there lived a great king whose name was this. Once upon a time there was Alexander the Great. Once upon a time Hitler caused so much of suffering to others. Once upon a time there were world wars. All once upon a time. What happened now? What happened to all of these things right now? None of them exist. Why? This is the power of time. And this is why people who cannot see this time factor as Krishna, they will fear time. Why? Because you may walk, but time flies. Time flies. So we are all on our clock. As with the second hand moving, our time is also passing in this world. But not our time. The soul is eternal. Whose time is passing? The manifestation of material energy in the form of our body. So, therefore Shankaracharya says, in this material world, when we come to this material world, let's not get distracted by name, fame and following. Let's not get distracted by our youth. Let's not get distracted by beauty of the body, because all of this is stolen away by time. Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam harati nimesha kala sarvam maya mayamidam akilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha viditva bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudamate. Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam means, don't become proud of dhana, means wealth, because today is the wealth belongs to you, but Lakshmi is said to be chanchal. She is with you today, tomorrow she will go elsewhere. Lakshmi is stationary only in one place. Where is it? Yeah, at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. That's the only place where Mother Lakshmi is stable. Anyone tries to kidnap Lakshmi, take it or separate it from Lord Narayan, immediately she goes away. She is there for some time, but she is chanchal. She keeps moving. So therefore he says, Ma, Kuru, Dhana, then Jana, following. At certain time you will find some, for example, if you say now, who is the best football player? some XYZ is the best football player. Now you see, 10 years ago, someone else was the best football player. 20 years ago, someone else was the best football player. So it keeps changing, isn't it? So therefore he says, don't go behind fame. Why? Because that also changes. Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garvam. Yauvana means youth. If someone is very proud, I'm the strongest, Muhammad Ali said. But what happened to his strength as he got old? As he got struck with Parkinson's disease? He could not even lift a cup of coffee, it is said. When he was brought later on to the Olympics as chief guest, he could not even carry the flag. To help him get to the stage, another few people also had to go with him. At one point in time, he was saying, I'm the greatest. What happened to his greatness? So therefore, anything material in this world is challenged. And this is what is a good motivation for us. Why to take to spiritual life? In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a story of Avanti Brahmana. Avanti Brahmana was filthy rich. At the same time, he was the worst miser you can ever find. Even if kids wanted clothes, he would not spend money. He would get it from begging, something like that. He would use the bare minimum. He would have money as like a rich person, but he would live like a poor person. That kind of miser was Avanti Brahmana. But what happened gradually? The force of time came in his life. Of course, Krishna in that form of time came, and everything was lost. His family members took away some money. Some thieves came overnight and took away the remaining money. Some taxpayers came and took away some money, and in no time he was out on the street. That's when realization stuck. Of course, you can find in this section of Avanti Brahmana, you will find he lost everything, but he gained Krishna. So therefore, you will find that if we get attached to the things of this material world, everything is a factor of time. Everything is f of t. The prime factor of anything which is material is time. Time is a prime factor. So if someone is attached to, if someone can show off, Prabhu, just see my iPhone 15 Pro Plus, whatever it is. But next moment, they will release one more, iPhone 16. Your iPhone 15 Pro Plus became old. It's no more in trend. Like I was hearing you can say a couple of decades ago, what was fashionable? Who was considered to be most attractive? Those people who were fat. Fatness was considered to be attractive. Now, to be size 0, to be very slim, this is considered attractive. Time changed everything. If someone is fat, they are considered not attractive rather, isn't it? So in this way, you will find the force of time is so strong, whatever is held to be the topmost opinion at one point in time, immediately gets out of that position, something else takes over that position. So therefore, with respect to anything which is material in our life, what is Krishna's opinion? Matra sparshast kanteya shita ushna sukha dukkadaha agama paino nityastam stitikshasva bharata. Krishna is telling Arjuna that anything which is material, that which cannot be cured has to be endured. That means anything which is subjected to duality, happiness, you cannot be happy with material objects all the time. Happiness comes, material happiness goes. Then a distress also comes, then distress also goes. To the degree one is affected by happiness in material life, to that degree he gets affected by material distress also. So when we see this first line, Rupa Vedas Padam Divyam, that means time's influence on material energy is that it transforms material energy. Some transformations are according to our liking, some transformations are not according to our liking. But this is all completely the effect of time. In childhood, what we used to like, as we grow up, we don't like. Some people, they would be hardcore, die-hard fans of gulab jamun. But as they grow old, as the stomach starts, reduces digestive power, immediately gulab jamun, they say, no Prabhu, I cannot take it. Now no more their favorite, isn't it? Before in our childhood, the person whom we used to admire, later on we don't like the same person. Not just childhood, any time. So the effect of time on material energy is keeps changing the manifestation, keeps transforming. So when does the problem occur? You can say, okay, Prabhu, the time is there, material energy is there, time has effect on material energy. So what is our role in this? We get affected by this because we identify with material designations. What is material designation? If I think I am the best physicist, tomorrow when another physicist comes and he is better than you, immediately there is insecurity. Immediately there is identity crisis. If I think I am the best mathematician, another mathematician comes, there is competition, isn't it? As soon as I think I am an IT professional, immediately you have to fight for job in the IT sector. As soon as I think that I am a brahmachari, then immediately the problem is I have to be very careful not to change my ashram, isn't it? Why? Because material designation, as soon as the living entity Jiva occupies a material designation, along with material designation, he identifies with the problems in that designation. Okay, now a question to all of you. How many of you are facing a job problem in today's scenario? Ryan Prabhu? You also? Unemployed. But you're not facing a problem, no? You're facing a problem, then your designation is something else. So only few are facing job problem. Who? Those people who identify with the market. Those people who identify with their roles, with their profession. But brahmacharis don't have job problem. Though many of us are of the same age group also. So why? What determines problems is what designation we accept. That determines our problem. Similarly, one thing, I'm a grihastha. Immediately what problems come? I have to take care of my family. I have to earn some money to make a livelihood. I have to work also, get up early also to practice Krishna consciousness. Yeah? Spend time with family, isn't it? So therefore, in this material world, material manifestations are multiple, or should I say infinite. Material manifestations are infinite, but the living entity gets into a problem when it identifies with particular material designation. If I think I'm a singer, then I'm seeing, when I sing, how many people are clapping for me. If I think I'm a good instrument player, I'm seeing who else is better than me. I have to become better than him. See? So immediately there is distraction from path of spiritual life. Therefore, why we are discussing this, as soon as we understand the nature of time, what is that nature of time? Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam. Why is it called Divyam? Because it is Krishna's energy. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi. There also, material energy is called as Daivi. She is divine. Because Krishna's energy. Anything which belongs to Krishna is divine. Isn't it? So therefore, Rupa Vedaspadam Divyam means Kala Itya Bhidhiyate. That which causes transformation of material energy is called as time. That is the time factor. And that is non-different from Krishna. As per the second verse. So therefore, for us till now, what did we understand? More we identify with material objects, more we are increasing our problems. More we increase our problems, more we are bound to suffer in this world. Now we cannot say we only have one identity. I think, first of all, it starts with the body. I am a boy, or I am a man, I am a young adult. Then it starts with profession. I am such and such profession. Then it starts with family members. Then it goes down to likes and dislikes. Then it goes on to my skill set. Then it goes on to my desires. You see? And when you go through all of them, how many identities do you have? Thousands and thousands of identities. How many problems do you have? Thousands and thousands of problems. And why is it a problem? Because time will change all these identities. I was thinking, holding onto the seat of a mathematician, immediately time is shaking my seat. Isn't it? I am thinking I am a student, immediately it is changing my seat because now I have to start working. I am thinking I was a young person. In no time, I'll have grey hair. Of course, young people also get grey hair nowadays. Isn't it? So immediately, as soon as you hold on to any position, time removes the basis of that identity. And therefore, the living entity gets bewildered. So therefore, this first phrase, Rupa Vedas Padam Divyam, is very, very significant, as Prabhupada says. So now we can see, how does a devotee deal with time? Yeah. How does a devotee deal with time? Naturally, we understood. He sees it as energy of Krishna, and therefore one of the Vaishnava qualities of devotee, Vaishnava qualities, is avyartha kalatvam. Avyartha kalatvam means a devotee is very, very careful not to waste even a moment in anything else but service to Krishna. This is avyartha kalatvam. We are not trying to get there. We want a pure devotee is such. You give him 1 second, he will use in Krishna seva. We are not like that necessarily, but we want to get there, we aspire. So, avyartha kalatvam. For this, we can understand when can we use time in Krishna seva. Not everyone, even as devotees, not every time we use time in Krishna seva. Only when we have transcendental vision. Transcendental vision will help us to use Krishna's resources in Krishna seva. That means transcendental vision leads to transcendental usage. A materialist is also a workaholic in outside world. He also uses time. One person who was working in BCG, once young person, he used to come here before. So he told me that his work demands, his company demands a lot of work. And I asked him, how much do you work? He said he works for 16 to 18 hours a day work, and he sleeps 4 to 5 hours a day. 1 hour eating throughout the day is only just 1 hour. And I asked him, why do you work so hard? He said, I like it. He likes to work that hard. Can you believe that? I was thinking, he has so much of focus in his material life. I wish I can get such amount of focus in my spiritual life. And I'm serving 16 to 18 hours. Isn't it? So you will find that some people, even materialistic people, use time very efficiently. But the Shastras call such utilization of time as Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam, because there's nothing Krishna conscious about it. Just being engaged in activity is not utilization of time. Can you say, Prabhu, yesterday whole day I was going up the ladder and coming down, or going up to 4th floor and coming down whole day. Therefore utilize time. Is it utilization of time? It is not. Only when time, which is energy of Krishna, is used in the service of the energetic, only then it is called as utilization. Otherwise it is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam, simply hard work, donkey's work. So therefore you will find in what we were discussing, transcendental vision leads to, or transcendental vision is a basis for transcendental usage. You have something?
Yeah, but they say work is worship.
They say work is worship, but we ask which work is worship.
That is the way they are propagating in schools also.
Correct. Yeah, even when I studied, their motto was work is worship. Yeah, but you have to ask which work is worship. Is any work worshipable? If a butcher comes and says, I daily cut 3 cows, can you worship that work? The most abominable work, isn't it? So therefore, which work is worshipable? Karma yoga. That work which leads one to Krishna consciousness, which connects one to Krishna, is worshipable, not all work. So therefore, now how do we get transcendental vision? One has to elevate the consciousness. So that means More we become Krishna conscious, more we can utilize time in the right way. So, therefore, in Shastra, there are so many examples of this. For example, there is King Ambrish. What is that verse? Ninth canto, you will find. Yeah. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanuvarnane karao hare mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakarachyuta satkatodaye मुकुंदलिंगालय दर्शने दिशौ तद्भृत्य गात्र स्पर्शेंग संगमम ग्राणाम च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनाम तदर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्र पदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पदाभिवंदने कामं च दास्ये न तु काम काम्यया यतोत्तम श्लोक जनाश्रया रतिः. Okay, vague translation, very easy to understand. Maharaj Ambrish always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. His words describing the glories of the Lord, hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna, eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, or Krishna's temples or Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. The sense of touch in touching the bodies of the devotees, engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting prasadam, his legs in walking to the holy places in the temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, his desires in serving the Lord. He utilized even his desires in serving the Lord. 24 hours a day. Maharaj Ambrish never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service, his various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. So in this way you will find the people or the devotees who have had transcendental vision, they always utilize time for something, for pleasing Krishna. And therefore you will find in the Vedic scriptures there are so many sages, there are so many kings. When did they retire? They retired early. Today you will find politicians are holding on to their seat even though they are 70, 80-year-old. Ultimately death only has to come and take them out. Or Prabhupada says, he wrote a letter to Mahatma Gandhi, but still he had written a letter that, okay, now you have achieved what you want, peace for independence for India. At least now you get out of politics and become a Krishna devotee. But, of course, Prabhupada said he never got a reply back. And still he was going on with politics. And then then finally what kicked him out of politics? Gunshot. Isn't it? So in this way you will find people are so attached, they don't want to retire. But in the Vedic times, because the people had transcendental vision, immediately they could see that material life is completely futile. They did material life as a matter of duty. Therefore, you will find people like Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni had a retirement plan even before he got married. When he was speaking with Swayambhu Manu, he told Swayambhu Manu, as soon as I give her children, I am going out. I am quitting. And Swayambhu Manu also understood. He said, yes, understood. And then he gave his daughter in marriage. So in this way, you will find even King Bharata. It is mentioned when King Bharata retired to the forest. How old was he? He was very young. Very young, many beautiful queens and lot of opulence in his kingdom. But it is mentioned, Juhau Yuvaiva Malavat Uttama Shloka Lalasaha. Because he was greedy to attain the Supreme Lord, immediately he left everything, just as a person who goes to toilet, leaves stool and doesn't turn back. Similarly, he left everything behind and never turned back in attachment. Why? Transcendental vision. Why? What is its transcendental vision? They have transcendental vision to know how to use my life. What time Krishna has given to me to become Krishna conscious. So, therefore, what happens without transcendental vision? Without transcendental vision, one cannot perceive subtler spiritual truths. That means tatha tata pashyati vastu sukshmam. The transcendental truths are of different degrees of in their subtleness or subtlety. Some things we can understand, or some things even when we are reading we cannot understand. Even when we are hearing we cannot understand. Because there is no transcendental vision. For example, take the example of Kardama only. Kardama Muni was a great saint. He only got married as a matter of duty. Prabhupada writes in one of the purports. He was actually very self-satisfied, sage in the forest. On matter of duty towards Brahma, and Brahma is trying to fulfill Krishna's desire to populate this world, and therefore to help out Brahma, Kardama said, okay, I'll get married. Now when Kardama got married, he is a great saint. He was completely absorbed in meditation. Do you know what happens when people get married today? Immediately they get into sensuous enjoyment. Isn't it? Of course, before getting married also. And then marriage happens as a matter of culture. But Kardama Muni was not like that. Kardama Muni got married, and after marriage what happened? He was full into meditation on the Supreme Lord. So much so that devotee was serving him selflessly, tirelessly, and she being a princess of Swayambhu Manu, she was very well taken care of. It is mentioned, Bhagavatam mentions her beauty got completely reduced. That means why? Because her body became very frail. She became very tired. She was serving Kardama Muni in such a way that she didn't even care about how her own beauty and bodily demands. And only for this Kardama Muni felt compassion towards her and gave her an aerial city and gave her children and all that. And then as soon as she got children, Kardama Muni said, okay, my time is up. That means throughout he had transcendental vision. Can you believe that? It's very difficult. It's like going to a mall or going to Times Square at 12 a.m. midnight and doing book distribution and coming back and saying Prabhupada ki jai. Very difficult. In Prabhupada times what would happen? Sometimes midnight they would go for book distribution. If 10 people would go, only 8 would come back. 2 would go to Maya completely. Not very easy. But Kardama Muni could maintain transcendental vision that even after giving children, immediately he said, I'm going to go away. What was Devahuti's reaction? Devahuti said that, oh, my dear husband, now I understand, actually you are a great saint. No, actually before that she says that, at least give me a son to take care. Then when he is leaving, that time she says, no, you are a great saint, highly spiritually evolved, with elevated consciousness, but I only took material benefit of you. This is my misfortune. Let me see, what is that verse number? It is 3:23:57. Let's find out. Yeah. Saham bhagavato nunam vanjita maya yadridam yatvam vimuktidam prapya na mumuksheya bandhanat. My Lord, surely I have been solidly cheated by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For in spite of having obtained your association, which gives liberation from material bondage, I did not seek such liberation. So why didn't devotee seek such liberation? Kardama Muni could have given her two things: material enjoyment or spiritual benefit. What did she go for? Material benefit. Material benefit. Material, I wouldn't call it benefit. But she went for material aspect. So, similarly you will find in Chitraketu, King Chitraketu was lamenting for not having a son. Then Angira Muni came. Angira Muni could have given him two things: spiritual benefit or material facility. What did he choose? Material facility, isn't it? Similarly, time and again in different pastimes, in the Bhagavatam, you will find two options are always given. Not only to them, even to us. Every moment or every instance in our life, we always have two things to choose from. And you cannot choose both. You can only choose one. Material facility or spiritual benefit. So, now Devahuti, why did she choose material facility or material arrangement or material sophisticatedness or material enjoyment? Yeah? No, she actually chose material enjoyment. Why? Because she, see, for example, if Devahuti, what instruction she is getting from Kapila later on, she got the same instruction from Kardama Muni. But that time her consciousness was not that high. So therefore, what is the point we are discussing is transcendental vision is the basis for transcendental usage of resources. Time is a resource belonging to Krishna. How can you use time in Krishna Seva? First of all, we have to elevate our vision to transcendental vision. TV, transcendental vision. Only with transcendental vision you can use whatever situation, whatever things we have in our control, we can use in Krishna Seva. So initially Devahuti did not, she wanted enjoyment, she wanted children, she wanted material life, and therefore she did not get Krishna. And Kardama only gave what she wanted. Later on she says, Vanchita Maya Dridam means I have been solidly cheated by Maya. Similarly, Chitraketu, I am just reading that section 6th canto, in that it is mentioned, later on Angira and Narada, of course, initially when Angira came, Chitraketu said, please give me a son. He was ready to give spiritual instruction. But Chitraketu said, please give me a son. So therefore Chitraketu gave birth to Harshashoka, where he could have avoided Harshashoka in his life. He himself gave birth to lamentation and dualities. Later on, towards the end, when you read the pastime, you will find out that later on Angira and Narada both come to instruct Chitraketu when he's completely overcome by distress because of having lost this small child. That time when they instruct, immediately Chitraketu asks, who are you, both of you? You enlightened sages. Because of your instructions, all our grief has been mitigated. And then Angira Muni says, I am the same Angira who gave you this child. And this is the great sage Narada. And then Narada comes and tells the child to speak. The child speaks the instructions, spiritual instructions about the futility of material relationships. And later on, being fully enlightened, Chitraketu is in conversation with Angira Muni. Angira Muni tells him, the initial day when I first met you, I was ready to give you spiritual instruction. With that spiritual instruction, you would have avoided this whole episode completely. What is that episode? Of first having gotten a child, being fully elated, and then losing the child prematurely and being fully in distress. It is said, no, for a person who has tasted honor, dishonor is worse than death. For a person who has received respect, if someone disrespects him, it's very painful. Similarly, one who has flown towards material happiness, who has got carried away by material happiness, for such a person to face material distress is very painful. How many of you are able to understand what I am saying? Yes, some are not. Yeah. So therefore, you will find Angira Muni said, because you are not looking for spiritual instruction, I did not give you spiritual instruction. Rather, I gave you a baby. Isn't it? Because you were looking for something less important. So in this way, you will find there is always an opportunity for us to choose. The situation which we are in right now, whatever we may be undergoing, is a situation to choose material facility, material arrangement, material enjoyment, or spiritual benefit. Vidura was ousted out of the kingdom by Duryodhana, someone smaller, younger than him in age, someone who is like a naughty child, uncultured, uncivilized fellow. Vidura could have said, you rascal, you don't know how to speak. He could have made some arrangement and he could have still stayed. But he said no. This was his time to take spiritual benefit. Immediately he left his weapons at the doorway and left for Tirth Yatra. So he converted misfortune to good fortune, spiritual fortune. How can you do that? You need TV, transcendental vision. Without that, you cannot do it. So, therefore, Chitraketu, we learn a lesson. From devotee, we learn a lesson. But Vidura is a positive example where Vidura took the opportunity to get spiritually benefited. So, more we have transcendental vision, more it leads to transcendental usage of time. And therefore, the last point, which we don't have so much time to discuss, is do not add obstacles to your own path of self-realization. If you are running a race, will you throw oil on the same path so you can slip and fall? Will you ask someone to throw some banana peel on your path? No, you will like a path which is obstacle free. So, when we are practicing devotional service, what are some of the obstacles we might face in our practice of devotional service? Offenses, okay, good, offense to others. Yeah, different kinds of offenses. Anything else? Yeah. Not following regular principles. Yeah, for sure. Mind. Doing what with the mind? Following it. Okay, yeah, following the uncontrolled mind. Correct. Like this, you will find there are many obstacles. Prajalpa is an obstacle. Getting into some quarrel and bickering is an obstacle. One who is focused in Krishna consciousness, he will make sure to minimize obstacle and maximize opportunity. Opportunity for spiritual benefit, obstacle against spiritual benefit. So, I would say amongst all the problems or obstacles on the path of devotional service, the most vital or the most crucial one we should be careful of is independent mentality or being whimsical. Just today morning we were discussing, for example, it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Janme Janme Pale Saba, no, what is it? Janme Janme Saba Pitamata Pai. But that means every life we get one set of parents, not very rare. But to get the mercy of spiritual master and Krishna in our life is very rare, not everyone gets. So in the morning class we were discussing, say the spiritual master says that just chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra and just follow 4 regular principles, just do some seva in the temple and be humble in front of other Vaishnavas. That is sufficient for you. This is his instruction. Versus if someone thinks in his mind, from tomorrow let me get up at 1 a.m., daily chant 64 rounds and only eat at night. This is not with the approval of spiritual master. Now, which is more difficult to do of the two? Which one? No, you be confident. Correct, what you're saying is correct only. 64 rounds you can get up at 1 a.m., isn't it? Though it is more difficult to do, still it doesn't have that much benefit as the first one where it is easier to do but it is approved by spiritual master. This is why, because this first one is the devotee is practicing with the sanction of spiritual master or the instruction of the spiritual master, and the second one is doing out of his own mental concoction. It's called being whimsical. So, why many people ask, why do we chant 16 rounds? Where's the Vedic reference, scriptural reference for 16 rounds? There is no scriptural reference. We do it because Srila Prabhupada said it. And therefore 16 rounds, chanting 16 rounds, falling 4 eggs, one can go back home, back to garden. Isn't it? Why? Because Prabhupada said it. And therefore the mercy of Guru Parampara is there. But for those people who are doing so many unasked for austerities on their own, it becomes klesho adhikatarastesham. Too much troublesome. It's not by one's tapasya it's not by one's own capacity one can actually attain Krishna. It's not possible. So, therefore, in the course of independent mentality, one aspect what gets affected is the morning program. Srila Prabhupada has countless number of times emphasized on the morning program. We have whole PPT with references where all Prabhupada has talked about the morning program. From 4:30 Manglarti to 9 a.m., including Bhagavatam class. This is our entire morning program. So Prabhupada has said, like one person had written to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I was very inspired by your instruction to always distribute books. So I'm thinking I'll go early during the morning program. Prabhupada's reply in the letter was, please use your common sense. When I say that you should always be distributing books, that doesn't mean you compromise on your what is the minimum regular program. Do not compromise on that, he said. So therefore, that temple is vibrant, that temple is very spiritually elevated, where the morning program is very strong. And therefore, we want to create this culture. More and more people should be coming to the morning program. All other programs are subservient to the morning program. If any program is affecting the morning program, then it should be 10 times thought about. Sanctioned by sanctioned by one spiritual master. Only then it should be allowed. Otherwise, it should not be allowed. Why? Because morning program is it is told to us by Prabhupada. And you will find, we are talking about time, look at 10 years in the front, 10 years ahead. Those people who are strictly following morning program, look at them. And those who are missing morning program or taking casually, you look at them. What is the progress? You will find. So then you can make a graph. And then one will see it himself. And therefore, what I was trying to emphasize is we should not try to put obstacles in our own path because there's not much time. With very less time at our disposal, let's just follow our Guru Parampara, let's just follow Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and then we will perfect our life. We don't have to do a headstand and do so much of tapasya like that. Plug our nose in the dead of winter in a deep river. Nothing such is required. The actual tapasya is following the spiritual master. It may be more difficult than chanting 64 rounds and getting up at 1 a.m. But that is what is required. So I'll stop here. Maybe I can just take one question, though it's already time. Maybe one question or reflection if anyone has. Okay, so we'll stop here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Tai Gaur Premanande.